it's Rachel with Sasha, and today she and I are going to do a quick heel review. So, I know Sasha a lot of times pulls on the leash when she's excited. Normally with our loose leash walking, we give her the whole leash and just correct her once she actually starts pulling. But in instances where maybe it's super busy, there are a lot of people or dogs around, or you're trying to keep Sasha's attention so that maybe she won't notice, you know, some chickens off in the grass or, you know, something smelly, you don't want her to get around, anything like that. You might want to do a heel because it's more controlled. Also, I think a heel might be helpful for you since you have a fairly short distance from your car to our doggy limo in the morning. If you just keep Sasha in a nice controlled heel. At first, she is still going to be pulling, probably, so you'll need to have a tight leash on her like this, but hopefully she'll get used to it and used to the routine and heel nicely by your side instead of pulling you in. So we're just going to do a review and see how she's doing on it. Remember, have her on her left side, and a tip for holding the leash so it's comfortable if she does start pulling. Put your thumb through the loop for your right hand and make a fist around it like this. That way it's nice and secure, she can pull super tight, and it's not uncomfortable for your hand. And also there's no way that the leash can slip out of your hand like this as long as you have a firm grip. So remember, heeling starts on the left side. So I will get her over on the left. Sit. Good, sit, good girl. Good girl. Okay, heeling is a moving command. So you take a step forward. You can give her, you know, little cluck, kiss sounds. Excuse me. Or like slap your leg as you step forward and tell her heel. So let's see how she does. Remember, she's supposed to be sitting every time we stop. So heel. Heel. Sasha. Good heel, good girl. Okay, so that was pretty good. She was pulling a bit, and whenever we stop, we want Sasha to sit. Now, ideally, you won't have to tell her to sit. She'll do it automatically because the sitting is inclusive in the heel command. So I give her a little tug on the leash. That didn't work. I said her name, got her attention, and I did the sit gesture for her. And she did it fine just then. So we'll want to work on that. Now, if Sasha starts pulling, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. First, when she pulls, tell her no and remind her to heel. Say no, heel. And so hopefully that will start to sink in that no, pulling is not allowed. Heeling is walking nicely and calmly right next to you. But if she is pulling a lot, you can use turns to really correct that. So at first I was doing the right hand about turns. So 180 turns. Sasha, sit. Try to show you some more here. Heel. Heel. So she's turning those in front. Heel. Come here. Sasha. Heel. Now if she lags or tries to go on your other side, just tighten up the leash a bit. Heel. So by doing about turns like this, it gets her attention. She's got to be paying attention to you and following a bit better. Good heel, Sasha. Good heel. So, okay, ideally, we want her to sit on her side and not come around in front of us. However, we're going to focus on that later. Right now, I just want to focus on her walking correctly with us. So, if she's pulling too much, you can just do a sharp about turn. Just stop where you are, turn around, and pull her along with you. Give little tugs on the leash. Remember, that gets her attention better than like yanking back and trying to use your strength. It catches her attention. Now, also what you can do if she is pulling too much is do your left hand turn. And I'll show you what that looks like. Sit. So especially since Sasha likes to go out in front a bit, if you try to turn into her body, I mean, she's a pretty good sized dog, so you're not going to be able to get a very good sharp left hand turn that way. Sasha, come here. There you go. Okay, this is a perfect sit right here. But you won't be able to do a sharp left-hand turn. So what you can do is tighten up the leash a little bit, and you want her head even with your leg. And so what you do in order to turn left, instead of trying to turn into her body and tripping over her, tripping over your feet, when you make that turn, you lift your knee up. And you can bring it out a little bit. It's not to knee her in the face. It's just to push her head over like that. If you're able to get control of her head and move her head, the rest of her body will follow. And that will teach her to respect your space a little bit more. So I'll show you what that looks like by just doing some circles and a left hand here. So, put the treat away. No. Sit. Sit. Good girl. All right, so here we go. Heel. Heel. Good girl. Good heel, Sasha. Good heel. That was great. That was the best heeling and the best sitting that she's done so far. So that's great. So I don't know how much you could really see on camera, but every time she was getting a little too far ahead of me, I just lifted my knee up and I turned left into her. So by then, her shoulders were about even with my knee, but by lifting my knee up and out like that, I was able to move her head over. And so that controlled the rest of her body, so I was able to get into her space, so she had to back off and get out of my space in order for that to happen. And what I really love about this with Sasha is just doing it in a few circles like that. I was doing that for the first few times, and she'd kind of speed up, especially going this way. However, she was not getting ahead of me really at all by the end. So she learned quickly in just, a few seconds of doing those circles. By every time she'd pull ahead, I'd just get my knee in her face, and I would turn left like that, and she was walking much better on the leash and paying attention to me a lot better, to where when we stopped, I was able to get her in a nice sit right away, and it was nice and close by me. So you can do the about face right turn that I showed you earlier. However, working with Sasha, I think the left turn is going to be much more effective for her. It's really gotten her attention, and it made her whole heel way better. So I'm going to heel her around a bit. I might get a little bit off camera since I'm going to be using the size of the play area a bit. And every time she gets in front of me, I'm going to just do a left turn and get my knee up there so that she is a little more respectful of my space and is paying attention to me. So, Sasha, sit. Good, sit, good girl. Heel. So she walks faster when we go towards the gates. Heel. Good girl. Good heel. Sasha. Good heel, good girl, good girl. Okay, still a little sloppy on this sit. However, I'm really happy to see how nicely she was walking. She was doing a really great job. Now, another thing that Jason, who is our boot camp trainer, has lots of experience. He's super great. One thing that he teaches, in addition to the knee, walking out, the dog needs to be paying attention to you, paying attention to where you're going, and respecting your space. So every time Sasha either walks into you and touches you, you say no, or if you have to move and your leg touches her as you're making kind of that sweeping motion out and to the left, tell her no if she touches you. So that's just another way to kind of get her to respect your space a bit. So Sasha has done a really great job. I'm really happy to see how quickly she came, her healing came along just in a 10-minute video, and it looks like she wants to play, and I think she has she has definitely deserved her playtime. So that's it for today. This was Rachel and Sasha, and we are working on healing.